Good evening, folks. We're here live from the underground in Randolph, Vermont at 24 Pleasant Street for the debut of Season 3 of the Live from the Underground performance series. And we are really blessed to have in the house tonight the frontman for Wooden Dinosaur and the Rear Defrosters, and a great solo artist all on his own, coming all the way up from Guilford, Vermont, Michael Roberts.
Summer nights, I'd sit out on the porch, just a tired old horse with a beer and a light, watching for dusk, the bats would all come to the darkening sky. I have prayed like a fool, sat whipped like a mule with my eyes open wide. Still nothing good comes, I've long given up fun, but I love to watch. I love to rest my eyes and imagine there's something that can thrive, though it's blinder than I am. I've been working days, it ain't such a drag, hauling 50-pound bags up the staging. They all deserve roofs, and I gotta eat too. I can't stand the heat, burning up my head, my back and my neck, with no place to be, to catch a breeze, to remember I'm free like the bats I've seen. When I'm killing time, now I just want to rest. When I'm hot, when I'm tired. Last Saturday noon, I saw one in the grass near that old electric fence, just a-hiding away. In plain daylight, with her eyes shut tight. Thanks, everyone.
Because quite often I'm off, so just to say that out loud, and that's more personal than professional. What a great song! Thank you, Michael. That was a beautiful song. So that opens up your most recent album, Sympathizer, right?
Yep, it's the first track on that one.
A song called Bats.
Bats is what it's called. Yep.
Really apropos to the climate right now, yeah?
It felt like a good one to play on a hot summer night.
Yeah, fantastic. And you come to us, I mentioned at the intro, from Guilford, Vermont, border town, right. Way down south. We were talking before the show a little bit about it's a little warmer down there usually, but you didn't sense that today, or
I
no?
was counting on it being cooler up here, but I think when I got in my car it was 94 down there. You know, I was actually 77, 78 in some of those rainstorms, and then as soon as I got up here, I think it was 93, so Randolph has disappointed me.
Well, if you were expecting 94 and it was 93.
It was an hour and a half later, though, you know.
Right, yeah. And in the heat of that's the hottest part of the day, too. Yeah. I'm trying to make a disclaimer here for Randolph, if I can.
Yeah, no, it's redeeming itself, despite that immediate disappointment.
Nice.
Randolph's been great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You've been down there a while. You've got how many albums out now, when you count all your solo and your group projects?
That's a really good question. Yeah. Well, I guess three solo albums, and the Rear Defrosters has one little album out, a little EP, and then Wooden Dinosaur, maybe 8, I think.
Yeah, I've been enjoying your music for at least 10 years. Been playing you on the radio. You got an incredible alt country sound. Really appreciate your songwriting, and I know Dan Bowles at 7 Days agrees. Called you a Vermont treasure, which had to feel good.
Dan's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He's really been. Not that many people write about my music, and Dan has been really willing to, and so yeah, it's been nice that he's been spreading the word.
Well, you're on the opposite side of the state too.
That's
true. As far away from Burlington as you can get, pretty much.
Maybe he's just filling his quota. He's like, well, they tell me I got to write about these border towns, so I got this guy, and he's pretty good.
Yeah. I've always wanted to ask you, because I don't know the answer, and when we talked previously a few years ago, I never asked, where does the name Wooden Dinosaur, that was the band that you carried for a long time.
Yeah.
Where did that name come from?
You know, there's not a great story. I think the main thing is that I was a huge Dinosaur Jr. fan growing up. Jay Mascis is from Amherst, Mass. I grew up in Springfield. And huge fan of his. I used to go see him with my dad. My dad's a huge fan of his as well. So.
Oh wow!
The dinosaur is the main thing. Yeah.
Nice, and maybe I would just guess wooden being more acoustic flavored.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Jay is so electric.
Yeah. The earlier stuff that I was doing was just me and acoustic stringed instruments basically. So. Yeah. Though that evolved, and the band got louder and bigger and all that. So.
Yeah. And they're touring. They were just up in Burlington. Did you go see that show at Waking Windows?
I haven't seen him in a little bit. Yeah.
Or in Winooski. I've never seen him, but people, love Jay Mascis's guitar work. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, and I've never met him, but a lot of mutual friends, and heard he's the nicest guy around. So. Nice.
Well, you should meet him. I'm sure he'd love your music too if he hasn't already heard it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to let you play, and we'll come back after a few more songs and talk a little bit more. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to stick with songs from that album I just put out earlier this year. And so this one is called Two White Tails. Filling in betweens, I was bent to be silent in the woods, whispering to me the sounds of maps of places where passages of feet and sickness and in hell come and retreat. Strong mind could just be here. Let the wind carry the fear, and the mechanisms of easy living to the place where wild grows. Two white tails break the standing rain, scatter through the sticks, on and off again. Move and feel so easy, be born to be the world passing by like a ceremony. Strong legs could slow me now. Let the wind turn around. All the mechanisms of simple pleasure, bring them home, burn them down. I open up the door to greet the early morning sun, closing it behind me, and away I do run to the where the lark is singing in the trees, to the meadow where I'm walking in the early morning breeze. I cup my hands to catch a multicolored butterfly perched upon the petals of a flower growing wild. And freeing it, I watch as it flies away from me to visit with the flowers in the early morning breeze. Rainbow-colored flowers mixed with early morning sun, the asters and the dahlias and the wild geraniums. Drops of morning dew still linger on the iris leaves in the meadow where I'm walking in the early morning breeze. Misty-eyed I look upon the meadow where I stray, for it's there I find the courage to greet the coming day. And there among the flowers I kneel gently to my knees to visit with God in the early morning breeze. Rainbow-colored flowers mixed with early morning sun, the asters and the dahlias and the wild geraniums. Drops of morning dew still linger on the iris leaves in the meadow where I'm walking in the early morning breeze. Rainbow-colored flowers mixed with early morning sun. The asters and the dahlias and the wild geraniums. Drops of morning dew still linger on the iris leaves in the meadow where I'm walking in the early morning breeze. Thanks, everyone. That was a song by one of the great, I think, maybe the greatest songwriter of our times, and certainly one of the most prolific, Dolly Parton. I got to see Dolly play a couple years ago, and my favorite part of the show, she did this song where, just to prove that she's in charge. She did a song where she started on this gigantic white grand piano, and then as the song got going, she changed over. She had a bright white guitar, of course, and then somebody brought out a fiddle, and she ripped this amazing fiddle solo, and then somebody brought out this tiny white alto saxophone with rhinestones on it, and she played an unbelievable saxophone solo. It was crazy. You should go see her sometime. Here's another one from Sympathizer. It's called Snowflakes. Winter looks different in your eyes. I keep trying to find you in darker and darker skies. But I would still be with you anytime. Just pick the place and pick the night. 'Cause I'll be waiting, or I'll be sleeping and dreaming. And either way, you'll be on my mind. If nothing ever happens for a while, I can sit and watch snowflakes in the meantime. I'll be waiting, or I'll be sleeping and dreaming. And either way, you'll be on my mind. If nothing ever happens for a while, I can sit and watch the snowflakes in the meantime. I can sit and watch the snowflakes in the meantime. I see you in a field that turns to hay. You're all the pieces of the day when I wake. The way I see you when I stop and close my eyes. There's the hemlock and the pine, you're deep inside. I wanted to think no one could take that from me. I went kicking and screaming at the idea that memory would soon take hold and change the way you were. Hear you when a distance separates the time from the space when I knew your face. The way I hear you when I stop and close my eyes. The lyrics lined up right, just like a frame. I wanted to think no one could take that from me. I went kicking and screaming at the idea that living would soon take hold and change the way you were. The way I see you when the fields have turned to hay. You're grown and gone away, and I'm old and gray. The way I see you when I stop and close my eyes. You were never truly mine, just by my side.
Love that tune. That's not from the new album, no, right? That's from your last one?
Yeah, it's from an album I put out in 2019, I think, Mixed Emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking today back at your catalog and realized that there were a few from that album I played, and that was the one I played a lot.
Oh, good.
And I had a note in there about, I think it was that song, Incredible Banjo. I think on that song.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
Coming into that song, really a fantastic instrumentation. And talk about that a little bit with, well, first of all, where did that song come from? How do you explain yourself?
Yeah, well,
that tune?
That is one. It's a song that is close to my heart. A song I wrote for my daughters about them growing up. I think when I was writing a lot of that album, I was reading a lot of Wendell Berry poetry, and his poetry has meant a lot to me and influenced my songwriting a lot, just in terms of trying to build a body of songs that describe a place and the animals and the plants and the things and the seasons and the wind and the sun and all that is almost a character in the songs. I think Wendell does that well. There's other poets that do it really well. Patty Ann Rogers is another one. But I'm trying to figure that out. It feels to me like trying to find a voice where I can be a Vermont songwriter and pay tribute to those things that are in a lot of Vermonters' lives. But I don't know a lot of songwriters who really do that really well. Dolly Parton, certainly the song I played, I think, does that beautifully, and there are others as well. But something I'm working on. And I should say, to go back to the banjo, I should give a shout out to Nate Wallace, great banjo player from Lincoln, who writes songs and plays around a lot. And when I had that song, and there's another song that Nate and I just do as a duo, just felt like seemed like the thing to do, and he came down and we basically nailed those 2 songs in just a couple takes. It felt really natural. He's a guy I played a lot of old-time fiddle music with over the years. So yeah, Nate Wallace.
Fantastic.
Wallace Gusakov sometimes is his last name, but check him out.
What's his last name? Wallace?
I think he goes mostly by Wallace. It used to have a hyphen to Gusakov, Gusakov.
Yeah.
Ukrainian name.
Yeah.
He's Ukrainian heritage, but grew up in Lincoln, lives in Lincoln.
What a cool town Lincoln is, too. I have only just discovered it. What a neat place. That's where Christina Stakos lives, I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And it's a really fascinating mountain town, way up high. I just did the Lincoln Gap Road for maybe the second time in my life and was blown away. Beautiful. It's there's a whole conversation there about the enrichment of songwriting through geography, and I think you're doing it. I think making Vermont a character in a way. I mean, White-tailed deer and the whole Sympathizer album. I want to talk to the creation of that, because in your Bandcamp page you talk about pandemic, kind of a pandemic album. Really, and came out of, to some extent, isolation and a revaluation, maybe, of what it all means, maybe, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of those songs, a lot of them had been baking before the pandemic. A few were written in the pandemic, and. Yeah, I hadn't actually planned to record them, and just was bored and decided, well, I'll, work on my studio recording chops. We can't all be as good as Vincent over here, so I thought maybe I'll do it. And I actually had the chance. There's an unbelievable recording studio in Guilford called Guilford Sound, and Dave Snyder and Matt Hall and Cindy Larson who run that studio are just the nicest folks. And I've been trying to do stuff there for a while. But because of Vermont's guidelines at the time, they didn't have any international, or national touring artists coming in. And I'd been trying to get in and couldn't really afford it. And I think they finally got bored enough that they said, Mike, you want to come over? So that was cool. It was this really interesting thing where I had to pick a band of people who were all in Vermont. As you said, I'm right in the border, so I play with a lot of people from New Hampshire and Massachusetts. It had to be people who could be within a day's drive, and so it ended up being a few people I've played with, and then a couple other folks who are friends of mine, but I hadn't played with much, and we didn't get a chance to rehearse. We just I sent them all charts, and we went in there 2 nights and laid it down. So that was a cool thing too. I think to me, like when I listen back on it, there's a lot of just trying to figure stuff out from the musicians and the album, and I think the songs, in addition to that sort of vibe, actually captures the feeling of the pandemic more than anything else, of just like, how do we do this again? How do we communicate? How do we play music? Everything's the same, but at the same time, everything's really different,
Right.
So.
And the album also has 3 cuts that are basically iPhone cuts, right? Where they're very rough and raw. We talked a little bit earlier about, the relative valuation of a song, when it's super raw versus super produced. Every song's different, of course, but I opined that I really like that raw sound when the songwriter says it's ready for the world. And you have 2 or you have 3 on the album?
3, yeah.
How did you decide, well, I'm going to keep these on the album just like this and not bring them over to Guilford Studios?
Yeah, well, I had started to record it, and it's actually not even an iPhone. It's a tape cassette recorder that I bought at Staples like 20 years ago. Literally like a $15 recorder. Right. That I've used to make demos with, and I've always wanted to maybe record an album like that. So when I was recording it on my own, I just loved the vibe of those songs. And there's actually one song, Fighter is what it's called, and there's this like 30 seconds of like
at the beginning of it,
just
right?
Like noise, and which is actually from, I played a lot of improvised music, and so it was just like an improvised session. That was on the tape, like when I was looking for stuff, like old demos, I like pressed play, and that's what showed up, and then it stopped and like went into this song. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep it right like that. So yeah, I don't know. I really like the feel of it, and I did overdub a little bit with a digital on some of those songs, like added a synth line on one and harmony on another.
Nice.
But
felt more authentic in a way.
Yeah. There's an album that I really admire by a band called Hiss Golden Messenger called Bad Debt, which I think is recorded all on a tape cassette, probably slightly nicer than my Staples.
Nice.
Recorder,
Well, it's
yeah.
It's nice of you to give Staples a plug too, though.
I feel like what I'm trying to do is Staples. Are you listening? I'm ready for a sponsorship.
They are the reward center.
Yeah.
They do have a big amphitheater in LA too. So.
Oh yeah, that's the pipeline.
Maybe you get to play in there.
Yeah.
That song, Fighter, since you mentioned it, I've only listened to the album a couple times, but there's a lyric in there that did strike me. Always wanted to be a lover. And here you are a fighter.
Yeah.
Talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, so that actually I wrote that song or started writing that while I was in South Africa for work for a couple weeks, and it was during the inauguration of Donald Trump, and so part of it is just having this experience of being in South Africa, which I feel like there's all these amazing and terrifying parallels to the United States in terms of some of the racism and segregation and all that's happened, apartheid. But yeah, and so some of my colleagues there were really big part of the anti-apartheid movement. And so it was relating their kind of sweet nature and their, rebellious nature to sort of the political situation that was happening in the U.S. And people kind of being like, we want it to be peace and love and all that, but I think, it gets to a certain point where people think I've got to resist, I've got to fight back, So, yeah, so inspired by South African and U.S. politics, I suppose.
Yeah, interesting parallels there. Elon Musk, of course, being in the news all the time now, and his, there's a history there, and who knows where he's going, but he's in the middle of it all, it seems like, as well.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's history. I don't know enough about it to even speak about it, but yeah, the idea that trying to not encourage division is really hard today, I suppose. Your songs definitely always seem to encourage a kind of a peaceful look at, this last album, nature and Vermont, and this is the home of town meeting, and we're, this is where I sit is, we got to listen to each other more.
Sure.
I think,
Yeah.
and especially the people that we disagree with most.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. There's a few songs that I kind of on this album that I guess if you listen to them like that one, you maybe wouldn't know what the content is, but certainly on my mind of how do we how do we build a culture of listening? It's really what I'm interested in. And it's good to fight things and, be vocal, but it's kind of crazy to fight things if you're not willing to listen when someone else wants to fight back on something that they believe in, so.
Right, it's how we learn, I guess, right?
I would hope so. That's how I learn. And, I think Vermont's a cool place because, we were talking about this before. The national politics right now are pretty at odds right now, but I feel like, at least in Vermont, some of those positions around conservatives and liberals and what you're supposed to be get really mixed up in nice ways. You can, there's a lot of people with a more independent streak in terms of the way they think politically. So that's one of the reasons I love Vermont.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to round out where you started was talking about your daughters and this album. The name of the album is Sympathizer, which is great, but it came about in a wild way.
So I was, if there's any parents out there listening or in here, that when the pandemic happened, it was like, oh, now you have to do your job and take care of your kids at the same time. And so eventually, we, at least with my family, cobbled together a little pod with another family. And so I had 3 kids around a lot and kind of playing and doing their things while I was trying to work. And I would set up, have a little studio in the basement and have an old Korg synthesizer that they loved playing. And because it's one of those things where, like, if you set it on the right setting and you hit it, it's like press that one thing and it's like, it just goes forever. They love that. So yeah, I'd set up all the synths and all that, and then my youngest daughter, who's now 6, and has, little kids have a way with language, asked me to set up the sympathizer, which I thought was so cool. What if there's an instrument that you could play, and by playing it, other people would sympathize with you, and you would sympathize with them, Somebody should invent that instrument. I'm looking at you, Vincent. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a sci-fi. It could be a sci-fi movie thing. Next
right
project.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I'll let you keep at it. Thank you so much for coming. I do want to, because you mentioned Vincent a couple times, want to mention that this series, Live from the Underground, came about as a brainchild of Vincent Freeman here, the owner of the Underground Studios, where he does great work for musicians, and this came out of the pandemic as well. And, a stage for musicians who didn't have any more gigs for the foreseeable because of the pandemic. And then we started this up. Vincent opened the doors, and it's been great. This is the first show of the 3rd season, and we're glad you're here, and just keep going at it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
When Vincent and I were emailing, we were talking about air conditioning, and it's pretty cool in here, which is nice. But I was thinking after we had that exchange, I was like, man, I should really write a song about air conditioning. And then I was like, wait, I do have a song about air conditioning, kind of. So here's that song. It's called Brand New Ford, and it's from my last album, or 2 albums ago, Mixed Emotions. I deserve a brand new Ford. I'd like a truck, but I'd settle for an Escort. It's not about point A to B, it's just about the way I'd feel when driving in a brand new Ford. And I'd take a house with air conditioning. The people who live in those houses do wonderful things. They practice law or medicine, all because they live in a house with air conditioning. I never asked for much, but now I know the more you start with, the farther you will go. Now I look around, see losers and winners. Now I'd settle for being just a wealthy, lucky sinner. 'Cause I'm sick of eating plain old beans and rice. Chops and dry white wine would sure be nice. I'll think of all I could achieve if I could get a decent meal instead of eating plain old beans and rice. For much, but now I know the more you start with, the farther you will go. Now I look around, see losers and winners. Now I'd settle for being just a wealthy, lucky sinner. 'Cause I deserve a brand new Ford. I'd like a truck, but I'd settle for an Escort. It's not about point A to B, it's just about the way I feel when driving in a brand new Ford. It's not about point A to B, it's just about the way I'd feel when driving in a brand new Ford. Do not think me gentle to satisfy you from time to time, though I have sounded sentimental. I am an animal inside, and I have learned to bring you flowers, been taught not to turn aside, and I am practiced in the art of looking you in the eyes. Do not think me broken. There's a wild streak that I ride, settle up and reach the edges of the world inside my mind. And I have learned there will be time again for the things I cannot quit. Even wolves sometimes are patient when their lives depend on it. Even wolves sometimes are patient when their lives depend on it. Sorry, played a couple clams in there at the end. That'll happen. So I have it's a honky-tonk band that I play in, more of a collective, and mostly cover songs, which is fun. And it's fun band because we try to uncover uncover stuff that that people may have heard or haven't heard. But it's to find that mix of songs that are both great and get people dancing is the quest here. So I thought I'd play, well, maybe I'll play a bunch of those at some point, but I was going to start with one here. Here's a song that most people seem to know, but they don't think they know it when we do it our way. How didn't I make you feel like you were the only one? Didn't I give you everything I had? Or didn't I, babe? After all the love I gave, still wasn't enough. Ooh, babe, now this man is gonna get rough. Come on, come on, come on, take it now. Take another little piece of my heart now, babe. Take another little piece and just throw it away. Take another little piece of my heart now, babe. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. Now here on the streets it feels good. Out in your heart, oh, you know that ain't right. And you never, never, never wanna hear me. I wanna cry all night. Just about the time I think I can't stand the pain, you hold me in your arms and I gotta say it again. Come on, come on, come on, and take it now. Take another little piece of my heart now, babe. Take another little piece and just throw it away. Take another little piece of my heart now, babe. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. Come on, come on, come on, take it now. Take another little piece of my heart now, babe. Take another little piece and just throw it away. Take another little piece of my heart now, babe. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. You know you got it if it makes you feel good. All right, thanks. So I guess that version is from John Hartford, the great fiddler banjo player. Just heard a live version of he did of that one just on banjo. It's cool, but the version I heard is on Gumtree Canoe, for those who are listening out there. And yeah, cool little bluegrass band version of it that we've been doing. This one's called Some Strange Dream. Lay down, put your head on my chest. It's long past time for rest. The day is done. There's nothing you can hold on to in the end. Not a brother or a friend, not a single one. The blue of the sky, the never knowing why. Questions that I asked sank like stones in a stream. The cold water made you scream, but we swam so happily, diving and floating in some strange dream. Stand up, put your feet on my heart. The race is about to start. Can't you feel the beat? And taste all the wind you can hear blowing past your ears and underneath your feet. The oxygen it leaves like creatures from the sea, with their circular journey through the deep. The sadness and the glee. Ah, we live so happily. I will see you all again in some strange dream. Some strange dream. Some strange dream.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
That was beautiful, beautiful closing tune. That's on the new album?
Yep, it's the last one on
Right.
the new album. Yep.
Yeah, so you start and you started with the opener and closed with the closer.
I bookended it, yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Always good to give people a safe landing too. That's a nice,
Tried and true.
nice beauty to planning out albums that way, I suppose. Well, that's fantastic. You mentioned the Rear Defrosters.
Mm-hmm.
I got asked the requisite question now because I asked about Wooden Dinosaur. I've wondered about the Rear Defrosters. Vermont, of course, comes to mind.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam's Rearview Mirror comes to mind. Where does the title come from, Rear Defrosters?
Yeah, well, it was, initially the band was called the Defrosters. There's a Charlie Feathers song. He's a songwriter, kind of unknown. He was a local guy from Memphis who spanned the kind of country rockabilly rock thing around the same time as Elvis, kind of the local version of Elvis, basically, who never made it big. And he's got a song called Defrost Your Heart that was, when we were starting the band, was just an important song for us. We actually still end a lot of shows with it. It's a great little waltz. And so we were inspired by that to call ourselves the Defrosters, and then found out that there's like 50 bands called the Defrosters. So our bass player, Jeff Murphy, came in one day and he was like, I got it! The Rear Defrosters. And there it was. It stuck. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and that is you described it as a collective. Earlier you were talking about the fact that it's a rotating cast to some extent. You got 2 of everything and 5 singers.
Yeah, we have 5 good lead singers now, and so we'll kind of rotate in who's there, but usually it's 5, 6, 7, 8 people per night. Pedal steel, fiddles, guitars, bass, drums, and lots of singing. Nice.
And you're playing, you mentioned earlier, you're playing kind of a, what do they call it, almost a performance series, for lack of, almost a residency in a way, in Keene?
Yeah, it's in Keene at a place called Nova Arts, which our bass player owns, actually a cool venue there. And so we do, we're off this summer, but usually third Thursdays of the month, and it's great. We play for 2 hours, and it's free, and donation only, and just trying to create like a session feel. And so we'll have people come sit in with us for the whole gig or a whole set, or people just pop up and sing a song or two, and so it's a really fun way to just kind of build a little musical culture in Keene and Brattleboro, and we've had some really fun guests, and hopefully going to have some more really good ones coming up this fall. So.
Nice. And that comes naturally to you because in previous conversation I had with you, you're from a musical family, and both you got a couple folks on the new album from your family. Right?
Yeah, actually not this last one, because they're in Massachusetts.
Right.
My dad was actually quite upset with me. Like, how come I can't play? I'm like, hey man, you crossed the state line. The studio won't let you in, dude. But my brother is a drummer, twin brother is a drummer, and he was in Wooden Dinosaur, and is one of the drummers in the Defrosters, and played on Mixed Emotions, the last album. And my dad is a mandolin player, guitar player, and so grew up playing with my dad and jamming in the basement. And
now you got daughters that are playing with you as well.
A little bit, yeah, we're getting there. They're 6 and 8. My 6-year-old is, I'm teaching her guitar. She's really into it. And my 8-year-old is kind of like wavering, checking it out. Wants to play music, but not sure where the entry point is yet. So,
which one, so you've shared the stage with a bunch of people. One of the people I saw was Iris Dement. Mm-hmm. And your daughter's named Iris.
My youngest daughter named Iris, yeah.
That's your 6-year-old.
Yep. The guitar player, her self-proclaimed guitar player is Iris.
Leader rhythm.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's funny. We were going to see a show, like a festival the other day, and she was like, "Dad, is Iris Dement playing?" Like, no, she's not. She doesn't just go everywhere you want to see music, Iris. Why not? Tell her to come. Like, it doesn't really work that way. So,
nice.
She's got a big personality already.
Right on. She's ready for the stage.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for this. This is the first set. The Live from the Underground series we've expanded to this new venue here at the Underground at 24 Pleasant Street in Randolph, and we have a seating capacity of 49. So we are starting Live from the Underground second sets with live studio audience, and Michael will stick around, I hope, for another hour and play for us as well here. And I want to thank everybody here at the Underground, Vincent Freeman, of course, and Babs Mills and the in-studio audience. Sorry, I hit the mic there. And also, this performance is the first of many that will be broadcast on WCVR, North Country 1320. 100.1 FM, and that is Central Vermont Radio, North Country, here in Randolph, also with a reach all the way up to Barrie and down to Rutland, and I don't know if maybe you can catch it White River Junction way, I'm not sure, but it's been really wonderful to have you here. So glad you're here to open up the third season, and we really thank you so much for your great performance. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah,
thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Vincent and Babs and everyone for doing this. Cool.
Right on. And next week we will have Fern Maddie for Live from the Underground here as well. She's just come off a debut CD, and she's going to be sharing some stuff with us next Thursday, July 28th. My name is Jamie Gage, one of your hosts here with everybody I just mentioned, and we're going to let Michael close it out here and then start up the second set with whatever you got. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, guys. So one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead with one more, and then we'll
do a little break?
Yeah.
Well, since we were just talking about Defrost Your Heart, I'll play that one by the great Charlie Feathers. Actually, you know what? Let me switch to the electric here. It's tradition to turn the intensity on the vibrato on my amp all the way up for this one, so I've done it. You grew cold and acted smart. Won't you please defrost your heart? Fill its trays with love sweet and warm. Melt the ice and snow away. Let the sun shine in to stay and mend the love that is tattered and torn. I love you more than I can tell. Please release me from your spell. Help a heart that is dying for you. 'Cause you're driving me insane. Too much load upon my brain. Defrost your heart and prove your love for me is true. Well, I've been walking, I've been crying, and I don't know why I keep on trying to win you back, make you feel the same like you did not long ago, when I know you loved me so. But I can see that my hopes are all in vain. Thanks, everyone. Guess I'll do a short break and then we'll come back. If I could just be in Portland tonight, cigarette smoking under an old street light. If I could stand to be alone, put away my old phone, I guess I'd be alright. I got an old blue Pontiac, it's a 98. I put a new engine in, now it runs okay. If I could find a job I liked, take the day shift or the night, doesn't matter anyway. Would I still feel so unhinged? All my family and my friends say it goes away. Job jobs in Pontiacs. They get worse and they don't come back, and I might be the same. I sold my hunting guns, I still got my fishing poles. I hit the Androscoggin when it's not too cold. In the early morning light, I can still catch fish alright, is my good luck, I'm told. I got a brother in Portland, he's got a wife and kids. We all got problems, it seems to keep his head. We take a night out on the town, when he drinks he almost drowns, but his wife, she takes him in. He's got family, he's got friends looking out for him, but it ain't no use. Brothers in fish, I just stand there and reel them in. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. Thanks, everyone. That was Jobs and Pontiacs from my album Mixed Emotions. I'm going to do another one from that album called Jolene, which is not Dolly Parton's Jolene, it's my Jolene. Kind of inspired by Dolly's Jolene, I suppose, though. I still think of her. November comes around, the goldenrod is faded, and I lie down on the ground. I'd like to love without ever feeling bad. I wish I could stop thinking about the things I never had. Now I wish I danced a little more loudly, smoking joints and drinking wine. Still blame myself for the way things worked out. At least I had Jolene for the good times. At least I had Jolene for the good times. I take a walk deserted December. A couple leaves still hang around. I still can remember the way she kissed me goodbye late one night. Said she couldn't take the cold. Blankets are white. Now I wish. Laughed a little more loudly. Kept my eyes on the exit signs. Still blame myself for the way things worked out. At least I had Jolene for the good times. At least I had Jolene for the good times. At least I had Jolene for the good times. I'm gonna do one more here on the acoustic before I switch over to the... Had the chance to see Asleep at the Wheel. Any Asleep at the Wheel fans? Yeah, they're Ray Benson, who's their guitar player, started that band 52 years ago, and he's still shredding. It's crazy. Anyway, this is a song that I learned from an Asleep at the Wheel album. It's a Willie Nelson song. He sings it with him. It's called Write Your Own Songs. Should be an anthem for songwriters. You're calling us heathens with zero respect for the law. Well, we're only songwriters, writing our songs, that's all. We write what we live, and we live what we write. Is that wrong? If you don't like that, Mr. Music Executive, why don't you write your own songs? And don't listen to mine. They might run you crazy. They might make you dwell on your feelings a moment too long. Well, we're making you rich, and you're already lazy. So just lay on your ass and get richer, or write your own songs. Mr. Purified Country, you don't know what the whole thing's about. Is your head so far up your ass that you can't pull it out? The world's getting smaller and everyone in it belongs. If you don't like that, Mr. Purified Country, why don't you write your own songs? And don't listen to mine. They might run you crazy. They might make you dwell on your feelings a moment too long. Well, we're making you rich, and you're already lazy. So just lay on your ass and get richer, write your own songs. So just lay on your ass or get richer and write your own songs. You know, I get that a lot. I feel like there should be a Willie Nelson quota, like anybody who writes songs should have to play a Willie Nelson song on stage once a year, or else breach of contract. Oof. Turn myself around here. I think. Maybe. This is a real Willie thing to do. All right, I think I'm going to play a couple old Wooden Dinosaur songs here. We put out, as Jamie said, I don't even know how many albums. I said 8, but I don't know if that's true. It's probably close. Yeah. No, it's okay. Nobody can find him anyway. Let me tune this thing real quick. So yeah, I think the last album we put out was 2016. I was thinking about that today, actually. Just seems so long ago. Yeah, Working Weather. Yeah, got some records too. That's true. So this song is called Spaces. It's from an album called Spaces. And actually, it was not supposed to be on the album. I had a friend who was living with me at the time who liked my music. Still don't have it quite right here. And he kept bugging me when we were recording, like, can I check out the tracks? I was like, no, you can't check out the tracks until it's done. And he waited till I left for work one day, and he booted up my computer, and he burned himself a CD of all the half-finished songs, which is fine. And then he was like, man, I love that song, Spaces. And I was like, we're actually not going to put that on the album, you know? It's like an outtake. He's like, no, you got to put that on the album. It's a great song. So if it weren't for Eric, it probably would have been left off. So here's that song, Spaces. It's a little stinky. Hold on a second. You were all the spaces and flannel shirts and smiling faces. They slapped my hands and I can play the fool, but I'll still pity you. You'll pity me too. You saddled up for ages and prayed to billboards. They're shiny, empty pages became your folklore. You sold it all too soon, but they'll still worship you. He'll worship you too. So you can fill the spaces for pretty horses, for radio stations, department stores, but every working man will forget you. You'll forget you too. Thanks. Here's another Wooden Dinosaur song called Day Jobbin'. I'm day jobbing for a while, couple dollars feels so wild. I feel good, I feel alright. I'm gonna race back home when 5 o'clock hits tonight. I'm gonna give up my American dream. I couldn't be whatever I wanted to be. I'm not winning, but it feels good. Just taking it slow, hiding out in the woods. Play guitar, pretend I'm here to stay. Once in a while, drive the blues away. I feel good, I feel okay, but I can't shake thinking I'm an actor on a stage, where the pasture's known to me measure only 2 or 3. And there's a line of sugar maples, and I walk alone there and chase them, and I am able Thanks. As I was playing that, I was remembering, any Ry Cooder fans out there? I'm a big Ry Cooder fan. I kind of got obsessed with his albums while I was making that album. The early ones. You guys know the early ones? If you don't know his early stuff, he put out maybe 5 or 6 albums from like 70 to 76 where he like reinterprets really old traditional songs in this kind of funky Americana way. They kind of sound like band, like albums from like the band's early albums. They're really amazing. Anyway. Yeah, he did that. He's had an amazing career. Yeah. So this is like pre all that, and these like super groovy. Yeah, they're like Americana albums. Jim Keltner plays drums, if anybody knows. It's like, it's all his studio buds. Anyway, I thought I should just play one of those songs. This one's called Boomer Story. I think it's, I don't know, it may be traditional, maybe an old blues song. Anyway, it's Ry's version of it. Come and gather all around me. Listen to my tale of woe. Lots of good advice to give you. Lots of things you ought to know. Take a tip from one who's traveled, never stop to rambling round. 'Cause when you get that Roman fever, you never want to settle down. Boys, you never want to settle down. I met a little gal in Frisco, and I asked her to be my wife. I was tired of roaming, I'm gonna settle down for life. And then I heard the whistle blowing, and I knew it was a red ball train. And I left that gal beside the railroad, and I never saw the gal again. Boys, I never saw the gal again. Saw the gal again, and I never saw the gal again. I left that gal beside the railroad, and I never saw the gal again. I traveled all over the country, and I traveled everywhere. 'Cause I've been on every branch line railroad, and I never paid a nickel fare. Been from Maine to California, from Canada to Mexico, and I never tried to save no money, and now I got no place to go. Girls, now I got no place to go. Go listen to a boomer story, pay attention to what I say. I hear another train a-comin', and I guess I'll be on my way. Now, wanna do me a favor when I lay me down to die? Just dig my grave beside the railroad so I can hear the trains go by. Girls, I can hear the trains go by. Hear the trains go, I can hear the trains go by. Well, dig my grave beside the railroad so I can hear the trains go by.
boomer story.
Well, maybe I'll do one more here. I'm going to try a song I haven't played in quite some time. We'll see how it goes. Always good to go out on a fragile note. You know, leave them wanting more. This one's called New Love. Thanks, everyone, for having me. Been a real pleasure. I want you like you wouldn't believe. If you could only see my dreams, you'd see it's gonna be very fragile. You're easy on my mind, but I've grown tired and I've acted rough. I worry that I'm losing touch and I've lost all sense of timing. Still I know new love wouldn't change much. We'd settle into the same old stuff, so I'll just watch the pitches come in. This time I ain't gonna swing. Winter or spring could be wonderful for new things, but when summer turns to fall, I start to question it all. Am I too stuck in my ways? Am I just wasting decent days watching the strikes pass and standing in the grass? Still I want you like you wouldn't believe. If you could only see my dreams, you'd see you're easy on my mind. But I've grown useless and I've acted cold. I worry that I'm growing old and I've lost all sense of timing. Still I know new love wouldn't change much. We'd settle into the same old stuff. I'll just watch the pitches come in. This time I ain't gonna swing. I'll just watch the pitches come in. This time I ain't gonna swing. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.